So, yesterday we talked about a time, or really the absence of it. Today, I want to talk about something even more tender, something that many high capacity women carry quietly, almost secretly. It's the feeling of, I don't know if I can trust myself anymore. Not because you don't believe in your ability or that you don't believe that you don't want more, but because deep down, you're scared you might start something and not finish it, or that life will get heavy again, or something unexpected will pull you away like it has before. And if that's it, settle in with me for just a moment because I promise you, this conversation is meant to hold you, not to judge you. I remember a season where I kept telling people, oh, yeah, I'm going to start that soon. And soon became next month, and then maybe after the holidays. And then when things calmed down, and eventually I stopped talking about it altogether. And it wasn't because I didn't believe in the dream or that I didn't believe that I had the capability to sustain it. But life had taught me that every time I tried to build something for myself, something for someone else, or something louder, heavier, or more urgent stomped its way in. And suddenly, my dream wasn't the priority anymore. Survival was. And somewhere in that cycle of stop and go, of starting strong and getting pulled into another crisis, of carrying the responsibilities that no one ever even knew about, something inside me whispered, maybe you shouldn't start anything right now. And maybe you shouldn't because maybe you'll just let yourself down again. But the truth is, I didn't understand then. And what I want to offer to you now is that it wasn't the lack of confidence, it was my nervous system trying to protect me from disappointment. You see, women like us, we don't lose the trust because we fail. We lose the trust because we've had to put ourselves on hold so many times that our brain starts to assuming that it will happen again. So, have you ever felt that quiet knot in your stomach? That little voice saying, I want this, but I'm scared and I won't be able to keep it going. I felt that, and I've sat with women who felt that too. And it's not laziness, it's not inconsistency, and it's not lack of discipline. It's the emotional memory of all the times that you had to be strong for someone else when you weren't already tired and when you pushed through because you didn't have a choice. And when you carried things no one else could carry, and when your job or your family or your life's unexpected moments demanded everything you had and then asked for more. And now, even when something beautiful whispers your name, your heart flinches because it doesn't want to be abandoned again. It doesn't want to hope too loudly. It doesn't want to break open for something that might be too heavy to hold. But here's what that hesitation actually means. You've learned from your past and you've become wise. You recognize your limits, and that's not weakness. That is survival. There came a moment, and honestly, it wasn't dramatic, where I realized that the problem wasn't me. It wasn't my commitment, it wasn't my drive, and it wasn't my desire. The problem was that I had been trying to build things in seasons where I had no support, no margin, and no community. I was trying to be the foundation, the builder, the architect, the cheerleader, the coach, the strategist, all in one. And when life shifted, as it always does, something had to fall. And guess what fell? My dreams, my needs, my goals, and my well being. When I finally understood that something inside of me had softened, I stopped judging myself so harshly. I stopped assuming I was the reason things didn't work out. And I started asking better questions. What would it look like to rebuild trust? Not by doing more, but not by doing it alone. That question changed everything. We talk a lot about confidence and culture, especially for women. But confidence is not the ability not to build in isolation, but it's to build connection and reflection in spaces where your strength is honored and softness is allowed. When I started surrounding myself with women who understood what it meant to carry a lot, who didn't shame me for being tired, who celebrated my small wins, who held space for me when life got heavy, my self-trust began to return. Not because I suddenly had more energy or more time, but because I had finally stopped carrying everything alone. And that's why I created the Vonswai Recreation Station. Not because women needed another program, but because they needed a place where they can be held, supported, and encouraged, not pushed or judged or measured. A place where dreams don't get lost when life gets loud. A place where you can say, I'm trying again. And someone says, good, and I've got you. If any part of today's message made your heart tighten or relax just a little, if it made you feel seen, if it made you whisper, that's me, I want to offer you the smallest next step. Come connect with me on LinkedIn or take a 7-day free trial inside the Vonswai Recreation Station. Just explore, just breathe, just connect, just see what support feels like when it's finally designed for women like you. You don't need to trust yourself perfectly to begin. You just need a place where you can gently grow. And tomorrow, we're talking about why entrepreneurship should be optional, not an escape plan, and how that truth actually makes room for life that feels more stable, more hopeful, and more aligned. Remember that you are doing beautifully, even in moments when you don't feel like you are. My name is Latasha Martin, also known as Techie Tasha, and I work with high-capacity women who work full-time and believe that entrepreneurship is the key to their financial and flexibility freedom, where whether you don't do it alone, but you do it in community and you use technology to make sure that you're the best version of who God created you to be. I'll talk to you soon. God bless and have a great evening.